Recording. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2. Charlotte is a 7 to 8. That is amazing. So we just wrote down in the chat what is our energy for today in terms of how we're feeling. So 10 is, oh my God, I need to celebrate. This is amazing. Life is amazing. Life is good. I want to pop champagne. And 1 is, I want to crawl back into bed and put the blanket back over my head and hope this day passes as soon as possible. So yesterday we spoke about shifting energy and we spoke about goddess energy. I hope you guys had a lot of fun in terms of implementing that or in terms of planning it into your life. I am still going to post today into the group my things, but I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to do yours first, because what I found is if I put mine first, then everybody just writes what I have, and then it's not half the fun. So the point is you want to come up with things that are good for you and not only good for me. So today's topic is going to be around reflecting and letting go of 2021. So I hear somebody's noise. 1 second, Christine, I'm going to mute you. Okay, no worries. All right. So the thing is that when we want to set powerful intentions for 2022, or like we do for this 21-day challenge, then we need to let go of some of the old things that we have. Makes sense, right? So that's why we started off first with setting the intentions and setting really powerful intentions for these 21 days and also for 2022. And I wanted to get you guys into that process of getting into it. And now that you've started that, I want to get you into reflecting 2021 and letting go, like celebrating the good stuff and letting go of the crappy stuff. And this is something that is also a lot of fun, actually. So this can be a really fun exercise. And the point of it is, again, that you do this in whatever time you see good for yourself, and you take as much or as little time as you want to dedicate. Again, this is one of the things where I say, well, the more time you take in doing this, the better. So step 1 is you get yourself a really nice, lovely cup of coffee. Okay, that is always step 1 in this exercise. And you get yourself a nice booklet. So I have one of these really nice ones, and a piece of paper. So a scrappy piece of paper. So something like just something like this, right? So you've got paper that you can just write on and scrap. And then the reason for that is, so the good things go in here, the bad things go in there, and we burn the bad things afterwards. Okay. So step 1 is that we start with the positive things. And I suggest that you do those 2 steps on 2 different time slots. So preferably you slap them between. You can take 2 or 3 days in between, which is why also I'm giving you this as one of the things to do quite early on in the process. So now, because it will give you time in order to integrate it and process it and start doing it. So step 1 is to look at the good things. Okay, so to look at your achievements, the positive things that you made. And I'm going to read you some of mine so you get an idea of how this looks like or how this can look like, because the point of it is that sometimes we think achievements are only things that are like business related or like, the to-do things. But I also want you to celebrate a lot of the things about what have you achieved about being. What have you achieved, for example, in terms of your health, or what was something that you overcame where you learned a big lesson, right? So this is about the achievements, all the positive things and all the things that were great and were amazing. I actually write down a lot of things. So I think last time, so I did this in the first half of Q1. First half of the year, so Q1 and Q2, and I think I had about 4 pages of achievements. And the reason for that was that I really went into all of the things. So really not only business related or like I said, not only the to-do things, but really the being things as well. So for example, I had, let's see, achievement Q1 and Q2. So the first one I did was I wrote down my financials. So I wrote down Q1 and Q2, and I wrote it for the different businesses, and I added it all up for a total number, but I celebrated each bucket separately. So that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did is that I wrote down all of the things. So for example, I'm going to tell you some things. I had a month where every day money came into my bank account. That was a pretty good one. I sold 2 horses in the beginning of the year. So that for me was a big achievement because the previous 3 years I didn't sell any. So that for me was a big one. Then sold and exported frozen semen of my stallion to different countries. Moved horses to another country, found place intuitively. And it was the first place that I wanted. So that means I manifested this place where I was going to move my horses to. That was something I was really proud of because it was one of the things where my manifestation skills were put into practice in a really powerful way. And I was very proud of myself of manifesting this in like at lightning speed. It was so fast. It went within 2 weeks. And before that, I usually took forever to find good places for my horses because it was really hard to find a place that would fit me both emotionally with the owners and all the things. And so for me, that was a really big one. I learned a lot about breeding horses. Then I managed my dad's divorce. I inherited an apartment. I was featured in an Arabian Horse magazine as a female breeder. I bred 4 amazing horses and the best horse I ever had. I stood up for myself and my family. I stopped putting people on pedestals. I launched 2 new websites. So these are just a couple of examples that give you an idea of how big and how different these categories can be in terms of achievement. So it's not only like from launching new websites. One of the things that's also here is started posting again consistently on social media. Like I didn't post for half a year. I didn't do much or anything on social media for my horse channel. Yes, but for my personal business one, I didn't do anything. So that was a big achievement for me as well. So these are the kind of things that you want to write down. So really include everything. And if you take really a good cup of coffee and you start getting into it, you will see that at the beginning, you're like, achievements, I don't know, what did I do, what happened, what was good, you know. And then you start becoming like, as soon as you get into flow, you start coming a bit creative. If you have difficulties remembering, okay, a good hint is your camera on your phone. So going through the photos and going like, wow, what did I experience this year? Going through social media and looking at some of your, if you post regularly, like what were some of the things you posted, going back into your calendar and looking at what kind of appointments did you have, what kind of things happened. Like for me, for example, that's when I realized, wow, I had 4 really amazing foals because I put the date when they were born into the calendar, but it was something that I had completely forgotten to put as one of my achievements. It's a great achievement. So, and another one, for example, is looking at your bank account and saying like, wow, here money came in. And that's how I realized I had a month where I had money coming in every single day. I lie to you not, except for Saturday and Sunday when the bank is closed, but every other day I had something come in on my bank account. And it didn't matter to me whether that was 10 euros or 50 or a few thousand or whatever it was. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like every day money was coming in. So this is the first part of the achievements. And then I want you to go and to celebrate this, okay? Celebration is one of the most important things. So we spoke about, when we speak about manifestation is, you know, a lot about gratitude, thinking about your desires, being in the energy, all of these things. And I'm going to talk about manifestation in detail as well in the course of these 21 days. But one of the main things that you need to know about manifesting is that a huge part of increasing your vibe and your energy is celebration. So being grateful for the things that you have is very closely connected to celebrating the things that you have, celebrating the achievements you did. This year, for example, one of the things I wrote down somewhere in my list of a couple of pages was I celebrated more than ever, and it was one of the achievements I wrote down. I also drank more bottles of champagne than I ever did in my entire life, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. And so that's why I really want you to celebrate, like really go through this list after, even during, and be like, wow, I did this. Wow, I did that. Oh my God, this was amazing. This was great. This was really, really good. And then really sit down and celebrate this and really go through that list consciously and let it sink in, all of the things that you achieved. And remember that this list is not an ending list. So you can continue to add to it as new ideas pop up. But I want you to be really conscious and take some time consciously whenever you want. By the way, a good point to do it is after you took your goddess time. So after you took your goddess time is an amazing time to do this, because you're already in a good place. You're already in the receiving energy. You took your bathtub, you bought yourself flowers, whatever it is. It's an amazing time to do this. Okay. So I want you to be in that energy for a day or 2 days before. This is really important. You need to have an energetic cut between doing this list and doing this list. Okay. Because otherwise our brain will muddle up the two things, and you have an easier tendency to look more at the negative things than at the positive things. Okay. Our brain is wired to look much more closely at the negative things than at the positive things. So that's why we want to pay a lot more attention to the positive things. And I also want your positive list, your achievement list, to be way longer than your negative list. Okay. So I want you to try to do that. And even if it's the smallest things, it can be the smallest thing, like I bought myself candles. That can go on your achievement list. Okay. Anything that you want to celebrate on your achievement list is fair game. All right. So then I'm going to go on to explain to you the not so good thing list. And the not so good thing list is, you will notice also that some things may come up whilst you're doing your positive thing, that some things, like for example, I mentioned I managed my dad's divorce. Now, there are a lot of negative things that were associated to that divorce, because obviously divorce is never a positive thing. So some things started popping up that I was like, oh, but yeah, I managed the divorce and it's done and it's through, but this happened and this happened and this happened. So what I did is, when that happens, is I already start putting it on this one, but I don't focus on it. So I put it on this one, but then I set it aside. Okay. So I don't give much energy to this one. It's just when things pop up, instead of forgetting it, I already start putting it on here. And so then I write in all of the things that happened that were not good. And that can be anything, can be from breaking your fingernail to doing something where you did a mistake, to something external that happened. For example, for us, it was my dad's divorce, but also my dad got very sick. And so these are the kind of things, that you can put on there. Can also be related to business. For example, if you launched something, or if you did something in your business and it didn't work so well, or you didn't have as much financial success in a certain project as you thought, like these are all the things that can go on there. So once you've done that, then the important thing is that when we just focus on the negative thing and we leave it lying there, it becomes a negative thing. It's not something good. But if we extract the lesson from it, then we can actually make it into something really positive and really good. So we can add it to our achievement list. If we extract the lesson and we say, okay, this is what I learned from this, and this is why this was actually really good that this happened, then we can still tick it off as something positive. But it is not very easy to extract the lesson right away. So that's why first we write down all the negative things. We extract the lesson. So the lessons go back into your main book. Okay. So main book, a lesson. I'm just looking into my lessons that I had. You extract the lessons, and then, wait, Charlotte, I'm just going to mute you so we don't have any background noises. And then, so you keep the lessons list, and you burn this one. So you burn this one. Now, remember, be careful that, you know, when you burn it, do it mindfully. Don't like, you know, don't set your house on fire whilst doing this. Yeah. I usually do it. So if you have a fireplace, amazing, then you're safe anyway. I usually do it in a pot. So just in a normal cooking pot that I scrap it. So I make it into really, really small things. I set it on fire and then I watch it burn. And I watch it and I set it on fire until every little single scrappy little teeny tiny piece of paper is done. And then I wash the pan. I put it in, I throw it in the toilet and I flush the toilet. So that's really to make sure that it's completely energetically cleaned. And whilst I burn it, I already imagine like really letting all of those things go. Like that for me is such a cleansing process because you burn all of the things, you physically burn something that you let go into ashes are really powerful. It is the natural way of how the cycle, how the universe and how the earth works, is that letting go of things is we burn them, we release them back into their natural state, and ashes is a natural state of nothing. Okay, so that is why this is really powerful and a really powerful way to release it. I have had one of my coaches recommended that you flush it down the toilet and then you pee on it. If you want to do that, fair enough. Some people have actually done this, writing it on toilet paper, okay? Writing it on toilet paper, then burning it and then peeing on it before flushing the toilet. That's completely up to you how you want to do this, but definitely I think it's important to burn it. All right, so when it comes to the lessons, how this looks like is, for example, so with my dad's divorce, there were a lot of negative emotions that came up in terms of his now ex-wife. And I have to say that at some times I wasn't the proudest of myself in terms of the emotion that I felt for this woman and the things I said about this woman, not publicly, but to myself and the family. So that was one of the things where I said, okay, that was actually a very negative thing to do. And what that created, and here's the lesson learned for it, is that we gave it way too much energy as a family. We were talking about her and everything a lot versus like, it was so emotional. We were talking about her and we said things like, we were like, oh, she's a gold digger and she only went after my dad's money and she must have known that he was sick and she must have known this and then that and that and then she did this and then she did that and what a bitch and da da da. So it was really all of these emotions coming up. And the lesson learned, there were so many lessons that I extracted from this. It was one of my biggest learning experiences of the year. First of all, dealing with emotions when emotions are super high. I'm noticing myself, what's happening with me, what's happening in the family dynamics when emotions are so high and so aggressive and so negative. Second, that it didn't serve anybody, those high emotions. At the end of the day, we actually came to really peaceful agreement with her because everybody was so tired of this whole discussion and this whole thing, that it actually ended up in a pretty positive thing. So we got out of it in a quite good way, and that we found a win-win-win solution for everybody. And we found a win-win-win solution the moment we let go of the lawyers. So that was also a really positive learning, that sometimes letting emotions settle and then speaking to people and speaking to them face to face and trying to find a solution when the emotions have calmed down a bit is a way better option than paying lawyers to fight over things when you're super emotional. So that was a huge lesson for me as well. So there were a lot of things a lot of lessons that I extracted from this. So out of my lessons list, I think 10 to 12 of those are just from that divorce of things I learned. I learned a lot as well about my leadership, how like leadership in terms of my family. I did a lot of mistakes, for example, also with the lawyer in terms of leading the lawyer. Like she did a lot of things. We were like, we never expected you to do this. Now you're invoicing us for stuff that we did as well. So we did double work, all of these things. I learned so much from it. And that's why it was really powerful to put all of the negative emotions on this list, take the lessons and still have the lessons in this one. Okay. All right. So this is what you are going to do because we transform. So number one, achievement list, go celebrate like crazy, take a day or two off between your achievement list and the negative list. If negative things come up during creating your achievement list, already start popping it on here. Don't extract the lessons yet. Okay, lessons come later. And then do the negative list, extract the learnings, put them in your booklet, and again, be really proud of what you learned, because this is a really, really powerful tool, and it is a really powerful way to transform something negative into something actually very positive. All right, so opening up to questions.
Nadia, do we put both the achievements and the crappy things on the separate piece of paper?
Achievement and crappy. So achievement, best thing on a notebook.
Yeah, okay. So we put them in the notebook and the crappy things on the paper.
And the crappy things on a paper, so you can burn it, right? I mean, if you want to ruin your book and rip out the piece of paper, that's why I prefer to take really an ugly piece of paper, a single piece of paper, because then I don't need to rip it out of my nice notebook. But if you prefer to write it in your notebook and then rip it out and burn it, up to you.
Yeah. No, I was more wondering if I should put the achievements in the book as well, in the book, or only the lessons learned. But the achievements also.
The achievements and the lessons go in your book.
Yeah.
And the crappy things go on the paper.
Yes. Fine. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. Any other questions? No. Okay, perfect. Well done. As I said, in terms of timing, it really doesn't matter when you do it. It doesn't matter, like, you can take as much or as little time as you want on this. It's the same, you know, as I said, with the bathtub and the goddess energy, like you can take as much time or as little time as you want. Just make sure you have a cut between the two. That's really important. Okay. So achievement celebration, cut, and then the negative stuff and the lessons. Okay. That's really, really, really important. I cannot stress that enough. Okay. All right, everybody. I wish you a wonderful Sunday. I love waking up to this. This is really nice and very powerful, very transformative. And I look forward to reading. If you want to share something in the group, either, like, of course, you don't have to share the achievements itself, but you can share a small video of you burning stuff, or please don't share a video of you peeing on things, or a small, you know, when you write your achievements, or a picture of whilst you're writing your achievements. Like, if you just want to share in the group, love to see what you guys are up to, and like, hey, I'm doing my achievement list, or make a picture of your bottle of champagne when you celebrate your achievements, whatever it is. Post in the group, and let's celebrate each other for the things that we achieved and the lessons we've learned in the last year. Okay. All right, ladies, I wish you a powerful and wonderful day. I'm happy that the light is here now as well. I always find it very fascinating that the further north you go, the later it gets light during the day. I guess you, all of you that are on here now that are from Sweden, know that very well. So, all right. Okay, ladies, have a lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow at 9. Bye-bye.